Alright y'all, welcome back to another episode of Retro ReWire. My name is JJ, and in today's episode, we're going to continue the In the Hunt series. We're back at the Surugaya in Shinjuku. Now, in the first part, we took a look at Famicom games, Xbox games, junk games, Game Gear games, PC games, and a few other knickknacks. And in today's part, we're going to go ahead and take a look at boxed Super Famicom games as well as Sega Saturn games. And this is all pretty much within the first aisle. But anyhow, let's go ahead and cut to the footage. So sit back and relax and let's enjoy the Surugaya in Shinjuku. So here we are back again at the Shinjuku Surugaya. We're gonna take a look at the boxed Super Famicom games first. And this section was about 12 feet in length. So not too shabby, and definitely lots and lots of good stuff. And definitely feel free to pause so you can kind of see, or just kind of take things at your own pace. But let's go ahead and look at some of these games up close and personal. And we're gonna start off with this Excel Brid. I've never actually seen this before, and it looks to be like a first-person type of game. Definitely a Pat Labor vibe, and kind of interesting. Then we have Axelay for 58. That seems to be the regular asking price around Tokyo, at least from what I've seen. And then we have this classic Gradius 3 for 12 bucks, complete in box. Definitely a steal, and definitely worth one picking up, especially for that price. Then we have Outer World, Another World, Out of This World. Definitely a cool game and definitely widely available on multiple platforms. And then we have this classic Shadowrun. I mean, look at this cover art. Now this one I think is superior, not only in the cover art, but it's also uncensored, unlike the North American version, which I actually have. But in its own right, definitely a cool game, whether you play the import or the North American version. And then we have Shien, the Blade Chaser. And I believe this was released in the States. At least I have memories of playing it. I don't know, I could be just making that up, but I feel like I've played this before. And then we have X-Men. Now, not a bad cover, but definitely the cover on the Kart is the Jim Lee artwork, and definitely superior. Now we'll go ahead and move on to the next 4-foot section here. And this one was kind of loaded with Nintendo games. There's a couple copies there of Super Mario Kart, which I think they were asking about 15 bucks for those Mario Kart games. Not a bad price, and definitely loaded with the Street Fighter games there, as you can see. But again, let's go ahead and take a closer look. We have this Cho Makaimura Super Ghouls and Ghosts for 14 bucks, complete in box. Definitely not a bad price, and I'm looking forward to Resurrection. And then we have Joe and Mac. Different from the arcade and Genesis version. It's kind of its own thing and definitely cool and worth playing. And then I believe this is like a Shin Megami type of game. Definitely kind of a cool cover. And then we have Sparkster, 45 bucks, but I believe it might be missing the manual. I'm not too sure. But this artwork in the back looks cool. I've never actually seen this, so that was definitely a nice surprise. Then we have 48 for Super Metroid, which seems to be the average asking price around Tokyo. This also supports Japanese and English. And then we have Super R-Type for 14. I should have picked this one up. This one kind of mishmashes 1 and 2 together, but it does suffer from slowdown like Gradius 3. And then 58 for Tiny Toon Adventures. Freaking love this game. Kind of expensive though. I bought this a loose cart for about like 3 bucks. And then we have this oddity, this troll-like game for 70 bucks. I've never actually seen this before. Could be good, who knows? Although kind of weird looking, but still kind of a interesting thing to see. And then this is the last section for the boxed Super Famicom games. Definitely loaded with some interesting ones as well. And again, definitely feel free to pause. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of these. Beginning with Final Fight here. They also had Final Fight Guy in the case. 19 bucks for this one, the vanilla version. And then we have Fire Emblem for 8. Kind of an interesting series, but if you don't know read Japanese, definitely going to be hard. Then we have Mortal Kombat for 44 bucks. Mortal Kombat 2. Definitely a classic, although the game is definitely unbalanced and cheap. Then we have Pinocchio. I've never actually seen this before. I'm not sure how this passed me by, but judging from the screenshots, it looks kind of interesting. Wouldn't mind giving this one a go. And then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one is known as Tournament Fighter in North America. Definitely a cool fighting game. And then we have Maggio, the Demon King, for 44. This one is kind of known as like a Castlevania with a gun. Never actually played it myself, but it does look interesting. But anyhow, that was the boxed Super Famicom games. Let's take a look at some Sega Saturn games. This section was about 8 feet in length. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the games, beginning with 3 Dirty Dwarves, 158 bucks. Not sure if it's worth that price, but I played the demo way back and it was kind of cool. Then we have 26 for Cyberbots. Definitely a cool game that supports the 1MB expansion. Get you some extra frames of animation, and this is the LE variant, which is also pretty cool looking cover. And then we have Marvel Superheroes for 27. This one also supports the 1MB expansion. It gives you more frames, but it does suffer a little bit, a little glitchy. Then we have Rockman X3. Freaking love the cover to this game. Although I never actually beat this one. I need to get on that. And then we have the Legend of Thor, Legend of Oasis back home in the States. Definitely cool artwork there, and definitely a fun little action RPG. And then Snatcher. I hope this gets like a release in English on the Switch or PS4 or whatever. I definitely would love to play this. This one actually dropped down in price considerably. Thunder Force Gold Pack 2. I think it's because AC and 4 were released on Switch. Then we have Vampire Savior for 20 bucks. And I actually prefer this in this smaller jewel case as well as this Waku Waku 7 as opposed to the big box. Although Waku Waku 7 on the Saturn is kind of a little bit of a botched port. Definitely not as cool as the Neo Geo. Recommend the Switch version for sure. And then we have X-Men vs. Street Fighter for 75. This one went up in price considerably. But that pretty much wraps up this part. So let me go ahead and cut back to the studio and we'll wrap things up. Alright y'all, so we pretty much took a look at the boxed Super Famicom games and the Sega Saturn games. Definitely a lot of cool games in stock, and some of them even had some pretty good prices, like that Tro Makaimura under 20 bucks for it boxed and complete. Definitely not a bad deal. Now, the next episode, or the next part in this episode, is going to be the final one, and I will be showing the display case. Now, the display case was just loaded with games, loaded with hardware, lots of cool stuff in there, so I'm definitely looking forward to sharing that footage with all of you, and I hope to have that episode out in a couple days, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, because this store is, kind of big, definitely big, I will be returning to film the other aisles. I definitely want to show you guys what else that they have in stock and other things they have to offer, so keep a lookout for that in the near future. But anyhow, that's pretty much the end of the episode. Thank you for checking out Retro ReWire. My name is JJ. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Ciao. Retro ReWire. This is another